they see us.
So, can ghosts make mistakes? That's the category that we're in right now.
They're teabagging him.
They're here. They're here.
We have scary stories.
They're here.
Welcome to Off-Brand Horror.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. You're listening to Off-Brand Horror. I came across this post on Reddit about a ghost potentially making a mistake. You'll see what I mean when we get to the story. But it reminded me of a story that my aunt claims is completely true. Something that happened to her when she was younger. And she used to tell us this. Well, really, she was telling like the adults around when I was a kid. So me and my cousins would be on the floor and, she'd be talking to her brothers and sisters, my aunts, uncles, and my dad. I heard many a ghost story this way. I come from a family who very much believes in that kind of thing. A lot of those stories stuck with me. They're very creepy. And this was one of those stories, and I had forgotten about it until I read the story on Reddit because it seemed to be in the same category as this story. And so to start, I'm going to tell you the story that I always heard from my aunt. And it goes like this. One night, she was sleeping in her bed when she awoke to the sound of the TV. The TV was playing from the living room, and her bedroom was close to the living room, so she woke up to the sound of it. Her mom would often fall asleep on the recliner in the living room watching TV. She goes to the door and she peeps out the door. From her bedroom, she has a clear shot of the living room in the back of the recliner where her mom would lay sleeping, and then the TV that's in front of that recliner. And so she looks in there, and sure enough, she sees her mom sleeping, and she sees that TV going. In her peripheral, she sees someone else. So she turns to look. There's a closet right there. It's the end of the hallway. And there's a closet at the end of that hallway with just a curtain covering the closet. And in front of that closet, looking toward the living room in the same direction my aunt was looking, is a woman in a white nightgown with wet hair. My aunt's first thought is they must have company that she wasn't aware of, and she wonders who this lady is. Is it a family member she's never met before? It looks like she just got out of the shower, and maybe she heard this noise and she came to investigate herself. And as my aunt is staring at this lady she doesn't recognize, who doesn't realize that she's there, my aunt looks down and realizes the woman's feet are not touching the ground. The woman is hovering as she is staring at my grandmother sleeping in the recliner. When my aunt sees this, she lets out a gasp. And at the gasp, the lady's head turns towards my aunt. And she looks shocked. She looks surprised that my aunt was standing there. And immediately, she turns and she flies back into that closet in the hallway. My aunt screams. Her brothers and sisters come running out of the room. What is it? What are you screaming at? There's a lady in here. She was floating. She flew into the hallway closet. They go into the closet, they look, they investigate, and of course there's no one there. So my aunt would bring this up and she'd ask her brothers and sisters if they remember this. And she would say, is this proof that ghosts or entities, whatever it is that I'm seeing, can make mistakes? Whether it be an angel or a ghost or a demon, can they make mistakes? Many people subconsciously view ghosts as these magical beings that understand rules of the afterlife. There's a common belief that ghosts choose when to be seen. Whatever this thing is, this ghost, let's say, that was floating here, didn't even realize that my aunt was staring at her. And when she turns and looks at her, just thinking, I wonder why she's staring over here at this closet. And my aunt gasped. She realized, oh my gosh, she can see me. And she took off into the closet. So can ghosts make mistakes? That's the category that we're in right now. And that's what this Reddit post reminded me of that I came across here. And I don't know, you guys tell me. I never know if this is legal or whatever. I don't make money off of these videos, but I'm always kind of afraid to read Reddit stories. I'm like, is this like like a copyright thing, or is this person gonna see my video and get pissed that I read their story? I mean, you're posting on the internet, and it's not like I'm gonna pass it off as my own. I'm gonna say it was this user who posted on this subreddit, and I'll even link it in the description. I'm just narrating it. I guess it'd be the same thing as like a reaction video where you're watching a video and you're giving your thoughts on it, you know? Is this allowed? Is it not, you know? I don't know. If you've ever seen me narrate one of your stories and you think that it's like not right, I guess let me know. You know, I don't think it matters when you're under a certain number. You know, this is going to be the video that just gets millions of views. I'm going to take it down. Users definitely going to see it. You didn't ask my permission to read that story that I posted on the internet, but this was posted by user Gilded Archways on the paranormal subreddit. And again, it will be linked in the description below. For context, in 2019, I was coming off of the worst year of my life. I had just moved in with my parents in Arizona from Georgia. I always got an eerie feeling about the house. It was just a deeply unsettling place for some reason. Well, one night, my family, being me, my mom, my dad, and my sister, had gotten home from having dinner. My sister went to the bathroom at the far end of a hallway, and my dad took the dogs outside. My mom and I stood at the other far end of the hallway, where the door to my room was perpendicular to the door to my parents' room. As we spoke in the doorway, I swear on my life, both she and I heard a hushed voice right behind my mom say, "Can they see us?" I get chills even thinking about it. I looked at my mom and she looked at me in disbelief. I asked if she heard what it said and she confirmed it was, "Can they see us?" I freaked out. I was already having a bad time with my mental health, so I demanded my dad go into the attic and see if anyone was up there. Which I'll pause here. I'm not sure. Did you hear it from the attic? Or was it behind your mom? Maybe I'm missing something. What made you think it was the attic? Did it come from like above? Can they see us? Anyway, I demanded my dad go into the attic to see if anyone was up there. He did so reluctantly, and the attic was completely empty. I mean, I was scared. A few other things that happened in that house included the back door opening on its own on a still, no wind day. The house had these little alarms, I guess is what you'd call them, and I was alone at home, and I heard the ding and saw the back door slowly swing open. There was no wind, no dog, nothing. I would also hear whispering sometimes. The whole thing made me super paranoid and uncomfortable. When I finally moved into my own apartment, it all stopped, along with the feelings of being watched. I don't know, maybe you'll think it's silly, but I swear we both heard that voice whisper, "Can they see us?" I've had some spooky shit happen before. I don't know, this one just sticks with me. I've always wanted to know what others think, so I guess I'm here asking. What are your thoughts? So if you have any thoughts, feel free to also go interact with that Reddit post if you have a Reddit, just so this person doesn't sue me when this video gets billions and billions of views and rakes in a bunch of money from me. Things that'll never happen for $5,000, please. But no, that's terrifying. Can they see us? Can they see us? What would you do? You know? Or what would you do if you were like my aunt and you saw something fly into the closet? You know? Is that Criss Angel, dude? Maybe it was Criss Angel and he was just floating and the hair looked wet, but it was just because that's what he did. He always had like, you know, the straightened, kind of greasy hair look, you know? Maybe it's just Criss Angel, dude. I bet if you look close enough, that ghost was just standing on one toe, you know? I heard a disembodied voice, and I've told this story on this channel before, but I'm reminded of it here and now, and you may not have seen the old video. It's a quick one, but basically, I was sleeping on the living room floor as a kid. Me and my brother fell asleep watching TV on the living room floor. I woke up 3 a.m. I start making my way back to my bedroom. Walk through the kitchen. I walk down the hallway. The bathroom's to my right. My room is a straight shot down the hallway, at the very end of the hallway. As I pass the bathroom, I hear a voice, a light voice, say,
Don't go back.
Just like that. Don't go back. And I turn and I look, and I do have a little sister, but she was at my mom's house. My parents are divorced. I'm a child of divorce. Give me a break here. It was just me and my brother and my dad in this house on this night. My dad was on the other side of the house where his bedroom was. My brother's in the living room. I just left him. I'm on the other side of the house by myself. And it said it twice. It said it. I turned and I looked, trying to process what I just heard. It said it again, and I jet as fast as I could the rest of the way into my room, busted my shin on a table that was at the edge of, like, on the end of my bed for some reason, and I busted my shin on that, and then I just laid in the fetal position under my blanket the whole time. And I tell you what, I didn't go back. My poor brother, God help him. You know, just laying in there in the living room, just getting teabagged by another ghost, probably, you know?
Don't go back.
But why not?
They're teabagging him.
Who?
Criss Angel. Criss Angel. Mind free.
Dude, everybody likes to shit on Criss Angel, but you know you liked him when he was a product of his time. He got me into magic. Maybe I'll make a video on that one day. I was a magician for a very long time, and the first trick I ever learned was one that Criss Angel taught on his Halloween special. And yeah, sure, you look back and some of the stuff's cringy now. It's cringe now. That's just part of growing up. All right, let's not get off topic. I promised myself stick to the script for this one. Sometimes I start yapping and it's too much for people. So there's a comment on this Reddit post that I read on the paranormal subreddit. The person says that this post reminds me of these two separate answers on a Reddit post from 9 years ago, and he linked them. So I'm going to read those two. So the post from 9 years ago was on the Ask Reddit subreddit. It was, what is the creepiest and most unexplainable paranormal experience you've ever had? And MusicMan0326 says this: when I was a kid, I lived in a house that was haunted with all sorts of paranormal beings. One of my first memories was actually an experience with one of these beings. I was about 4 years old, standing in the entryway of our house, facing the door. I stop and notice there are two people standing in front of the door, staring at me. One was a tall, middle-aged man, dressed in a black 1900s era suit. The other was a boy, wearing what I figure now was a red baseball uniform. The boy looked up at the man and said, "Why is he staring at us?" And the man replied, "It's okay, he can't see us." I still remember that experience clear as day, almost 14 years later. There you go, a ghost making a mistake, not realizing some people can see you. And that ghost was John Cena.
And his name is John Cena.
Dad, why is he staring at us? Don't worry, son. They can't see us. The other comment on the same post is from Computer Elbow. It goes like this: I grew up in a house that had a ton of activity. Here's just one of the more creepy things I experienced. I was around 14 years old, and the last sibling left at home, as my two older sisters had already finished college and moved out. I was sitting on our sofa, which was one of those sectional type sofas shaped like the letter L. I was on the end at the top of the L, just watching TV late one night, which was pretty much what I did every night. I could see the other end of the sofa in my peripheral vision, and something made me look in that direction. When I glanced over, there was a boy at the same age as me, standing behind the couch and leaning forward with his elbows on the back of the couch, with his head in his hands, staring at the television. He noticed me a second or two after I noticed him, and he seemed genuinely shocked, like I'm the one who's not supposed to be there. Then he ducks quickly behind the couch. I have never moved so fast in my entire life. I jumped up onto the couch and was standing, waiting and looking for this kid to rush around the curve of the couch in my direction. There was no kid. So, do you have an experience where you saw a ghost by accident? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll narrate yours. And then if you comment on this video, you're giving me explicit permission to read it. Or, better yet, because that may get caught up in all the hate comments that I like to ignore, email me at offbrandhorror@gmail.com and tell me your story that way. And put a nice subject in there, You know, to let me know you're telling me a paranormal story. You're telling me a scary story you want me to read. I've got to ignore a lot of emails too, because we relied heavily on that email address in the early days of this channel, and people had just used it to like sign up for every every time you're at a grocery store and they ask you for an email. People were just offbrandhorror@gmail.com. It's so full of spam, and it's so yeah, people use that email address for everything. Don't do that. Come on. Be a sport. All right? Don't do that to me. But no, tell me your scary stories in the comments or at the email address, and if I happen to come across it mixed in with all the other shit, then I can narrate it. I can read it out, and people may enjoy your story here on this channel. You know, because scary stories are scary. I'm trying to get back to my roots here. It's how this channel started, telling scary stories, personal and ones that people tell us. Nothing scarier than a ghost story besides getting laid off because AI took your job and then losing your house eventually, you know, which is probably going to happen to me. Aside from losing your job and then your house and then your dignity, nothing scarier than a ghost story, you know? Hey, I can't afford dinner tonight, but also, did you hear about that demon that haunted fucking Computer Elbow's house? Dude, there's a war in Iran and it's fucking horrible. Did you hear Criss Angel haunted Josh's aunt's house when she was a little kid? Sometimes you just need a distraction from the real world, you know? Anyway, thank you guys for watching. We'll call it there, and we'll catch you for another episode of Off-Brand Horror. Blah, 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 blah.